Well, I'd like to welcome everybody this morning, and thank you for your patience as we try to get everybody connected. We've got over 35 attendees at the moment, so that's a fantastic turnout. As most of you know, we have these webinars every month, at least once a month, on a variety of topics. And if you think of additional topics you would like us to cover on webinars, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So, about today, we're going to talk about M3 and the Web OPAC and cataloging, and how to modify templates, how to use record fetch within the Web OPAC RDA, and we'll talk about additional cataloging options, and we'll take questions from you as well as we go through the process. I'd like to take just a couple of minutes for those of you that are not too familiar with Mandarin and talk a little bit about the company, a bit about Debbie and myself, then we'll get right into cataloging. As most of you may know, Mandarin's been providing library automation systems, services, and supply since 1986. Our Mandarin M3 system, which is our Windows-based system, we have a Web OPAC for M3 that was released in 1998. And Mandarin Oasis, which is our fully web-based system. We also offer hosting in the cloud for Oasis, and that was brought to the marketplace in 2005. To give you an idea where we are in the marketplace, we have more than 1,000 libraries using our systems, and we're installed in over 35 countries. And in October of 2011, we introduced our Mandarin CMS system, which is our content management system. Think of CMS as your website for the library, where you have the ability to easily publish content yourself directly to the website. And with Oasis hosting, we're also including CMS at no additional cost. And actually at the moment, we do have a promotion where if you do move from M3 or Oasis to hosting, there's no cost for doing that. You would just have the hosting fee apply when you renew your service and update agreement. So a little bit about myself. I've been with Mandarin for 20 years. I'm president of operations, part owner of the company, and have actually over 30 years of a variety of technical expertise as well. Deb Clinton, Debbie's a librarian, and Debbie's been a librarian for the past 37 years. And she's been a Mandarin trainer since 2004. She's worked at the university and college level as a cataloger and a reference librarian, and a librarian at various U.S. and international schools around the world. One thing interesting about Deb, before she became a Mandarin trainer, she used Mandarin at a variety of libraries, at school libraries overseas. So just want to show you a quick picture of the company as well. Here's a picture of the corporate office in sunny Boca Raton, Florida. We have quite a few librarians come down and visit us. With a nice little cafe in there, and we've been in that building since the late 70s. I think somebody needs to mute their oh, there we go. Thanks. So at this point, Deb, let's go ahead and bring up. I guess you want to talk about templates first.
I can get to.
All right. Perfect.
It is out. Okay, so we're talking about M3 cataloging today, and so this is what you would see when you bring up your cataloging Let's just do today instead of and you notice that they've modified my display. My bibliographic records up here and the holding records down here. I have modified my display so that I can see the call numbers that are in the bib record in this display as well as the things. And I did that because I want to be able to put on that and see, whether I'm being consistent in my call numbers and that kind of thing. And remember, the call number that's in the bibliographic record is the one that the patron see OPAC on the first results screen. So when they do a search, records, unless decided to not enclose, and there are a couple libraries I know of that don't want the patrons to see the color until they actually go to the details, and then they can see where items are. But in many cases, you've got an 8 field in your bibliographic record. It should have the same file number as your record. Okay. Specified my display. If you don't know how to do that, I have thought about talking about that today and showing you. But if you want to email me, I'd be glad to directions for doing that. So you can put whatever material, whatever subfields you would like to display in your M3 cataloging, and that's one of the real advantages of M3 cataloging is that I can list lots of records and then sort them by the head, so that I can look and see inconsistent in things. So there's a couple that aren't consistent. I can see that right there, but the file numbers have not been separated, the correct subfield. So that's helpful. We're going to talk about templates, though. So that would be when we go to File, New, and we can add the types of records. So if you go to New Bibliographic Record, of course, you've got the list of templates that are included when you get the program, different types of medium, and sometimes a long, a quick, short, long, short, long, and short. And the difference between the long and short is just that more fields are included in a long temp versus a short one. So if you know you're not going to be adding a lot of information, you've got the short. The book quick, in the books, we've also got a book quick, which has very few fields, and that's helpful if you're adding a book quickly in circulating and you just want to put in the basic information. That temp has just those fields. So these templates created for you, but you can modify them at any time, and you can create your own templates, and you can take out the ones that you don't want. Look at the book short, which is one that you would be using really often. Now, of course, this means you haven't been able to find records from some other library. You're going to be doing original cataloging. You're going to fill in this record, okay? Template, information, and of course you all know that you can right-click and turn this top prompts or Control E, and you can rather than mark. I'm going to leave it at the mark code.
Miss Murphy.
More comfortable with that. Again, if those of you who have not muted your microphones would do that, so that we're not hearing you. In fact, I'm going to, if I mute some of you. Okay. So a template is to have the in here already that you're always going to have to add, so that you don't have to add it every time. It's already there. That sense. And an obvious thing here is it says your holding symbol. No, that's silly. I don't want a record to say your holding symbol. I want it to actually have my holding symbol. I'm in the Dewey Central Library, and so I usually just put in, this is my sample library, is the Dewey Central Library. Now, you may have a OCLC or code or a national code from libraries or some other national library, whatever. You can put a code, or you could even write your name in there. That doesn't matter. Subfield E in the 040 field is logging source. You can see always when you click on one of the subfields, you look down here and it will tell you what it is. So this is original cataloging agency. And putting this record in, I'm the original cataloging agency, so it's my library. Now, subfield C is the transcribing agency. It's possible to look at a record from some other library and decide and not be able to download it, but want to put it there, and I'm having to type it in locally. So the transcribing agency would be my library again. What I like to use here is to put my own initials in lowercase in that spot, so that I can go back and look at what records did I enter. Or the director can go back and look at what records they enter into the cataloging, or, you know, that's just a code that I'm the one that typed it in. And so it goes into the template, because this is the template that I'm going to use. Now, the templates are workstation dependent. Remember that. So when I create a template on the computer that I'm working on in M3, I'm putting it on that computer. If I want to be able to use it on another computer, I would have to either copy it over or create again on the other computer. So let's look at this that I might want to type into my record. Most of them, when I'm doing original cataloging, I put in as much information as possible. So I'm going to leave most of these fields and subfields here. I've got one subject heading here, the 650. There's space for one, and then there's space for a 690, a local subject heading. If I had more subject headings, I always want to have at least two. Then I could insert field, and another 650, and I'm going to use V because more often I'm using V than an X these days, with some subdivision rather than a general. Okay. So I have two subject headings, a local subject heading, and mine are that if any of these fields are blank, when I save the record, they'll be stripped out, and so it'll be consolidated into just the fields that I use. At the bottom again, we've got the 852 and my holding symbol. So I'll put that, save it, and the call number. Now, if you like to have the barcode of the item in the bibliographic record, you could put the field in here. Not necessary, remember, because the 852 in the bibliographic record is only used for displaying or in the record results and search results. But people like to be able to search on the in the OPAC on the barcode, and so if you find that that's something you do all the time, then you may want to put that in there. The dangerous part about putting the barcode into the bib record is that if you change barcode or you delete that book, but you've got copies still, it definitely take it out of the bibliographic record. So you would just have to remember that whenever you do something to the barcode in the holdings record, you would have to also do it to the bib record. Are there any of this? So here's what I've got. I've got my holding added in there. I added a subject heading. Let's see. I don't know that I make any other changes. I never put the price in there. Maybe I should. I'm going to leave it that way then. So this is the template I want, and I will not going to use this save over here. I'm going to go over here and save as template. Okay. This is, I can replace the book. Just take the same name and save, and it'll say, do you want to replace it, and say yes. Or I could create one and call it DC book or something like that. detail. Okay, and when I save that, I cancel this because I don't really want to. I don't save this as a record. I'm just using the template. So now, this time I go to create a new record. I can go to the L book and got my holdings information in there, and I've got the whatever fields I want. So you can do all of your templates, and you can get your own templates just by creating a record, a blank record that has all the fields and subfields that you want. One way that you'll this to be most helpful is in the holding record. Okay. So if I have a new holding record right now, right here's the record. Here's the holding record down here. I only want in the holding record. I just want my location, right, in the 852A. I want a number, and it doesn't matter. These subfields are out of order. Right now, it's sort of funny. Let's see what happens. I move subfield up and move this subfield up. See the order of the subfields in the call number. This is the prefix. This is a classification. This is the authors, or using the cutter space, we used to call it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's you just have to know what those are, because unfortunately, when I save the template, it's going to revert to alphabetical order, sort of, and rather than staying in the order of display. But you just need to know what those are. Anyway, so my holdings records, I've got the barcode here. The things I always want to put in is the price. Okay, subfield 9. And again, it doesn't matter where it is in the field, but at least in the program goes in as a lowercase p, and then the number, and then USD or CAD if you're Canadian, or whatever you're using. You need the 3-digit code that represents that. But it's a lowercase, and there's no $ or pound, British pound sign or anything like that. It's just the bare number. So this, if I leave one space, that will remind me that's where the number goes. Okay. And so this is my template, and I could template for reference. It always had ref in the or I could, however, I could have separate holding records depending on what kind of material I'm putting in. But for me, it's most useful that it at least has the location already there, so I don't have to put it in, and it has the price fields so that I remember to put it into the record. Okay, so I'm going to save as template, and then I'm just going to call this the holdings. Same name and replace it. It already exists. I'm going to replace it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So now here's one. It doesn't have a holdings record, and when I open it up, this is actually something I just put in today. So I need to insert the 852 in the bib record. I just do a check key. I can't remember. I don't have to stop and think which fields do I need. And it is, I think it's E, and it's the Reynolds, right? Oops. Okay. Creating. And as I have authority control turned on. And here's my holding record, broad call number, and it already has my location, and it's reminding me to put in the price. And all I have to do is add the barcode then. My barcodes are that, ensure I'm in the right collection, in my item group, and save. And again, authority control. Okay? At any point now, whenever I create a holding record, it's already going to have the location in it, and it's already going to have the sort of prompt to put in the price. In case where I have modified the display so that I can always see whether there's a price or not. And any of that. That's templates in another place where you might want to create templates and even more than one is when you're creating records. You can buy the template as well, so that all of your patrons are from the same city template, and I type it in every time. Or template for students who's teacher.
Yes.
This is Marge. We're the genealogy library. I have right now. I'm been cataloging the family history, so I have 2,600 fields. Any way of saying repeat and say give 600 subfield A, B, C, whatever. Many times. Is there any way of saying just give me another one of those?
We have to do it once to get it in the template, right? You did so I can insert a field. Whoops, 650. Then I can put all the subfields in at once.
Right, I need 2,600s.
Oh.
I have to keep going back and doing it again and again and again.
Okay.
I like in Excel, you just do Control-Y. Give me another one of those.
Yes, you can. Actually, I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, copy field, paste 650.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, and yes, and they don't need the copy again. I've got it in there. Paste 650, paste 650, paste 650.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, yes, you can do that.
Lots of
So
I have a question.
Existing bibliographic template. I was doing with the book short. I changed it, I modified it, and made it a DCL book. Okay, just change it in there. Take out any subfields or fields that you want to add in, whatever you want. In prompt or and you can also put in prompts. You can say, I usually put it in brackets. Although I really need this, but because you've also got that down at the bottom, you've got the example. If you wanted to put in a prompt, I usually put it in brackets to remind myself, and maybe you more often perhaps in the patron template where you can't, so that you can be consistent about what you're actually putting in. You can modify this one and then save it as with the same name. Just save it with the same name. I sent say this as book short, and just say, do you want to replace the one that's there? And I say yes, and it's replaced. Now, from then on, the book short has the information in it that you want. I just did it the other way with calling it the DCL book to make it more clear, but you can do it either way. Keep the one that's there or create a new one. Questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Hello. This is Josephine, and I was wondering if I could change the name of a template.
I think the way to do that would be to open the template.
Okay.
Let's take that short. Open it, and then File, Save Template, and give it a name and save it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, it's also possible. The templates are on your hard drive in the 3 folder where all of your settings are on your hard drive. Okay, so you could go to your templates folder and actually change the name of any one of those in that place as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Questions about templates? Yourself using these. You could, with you could have patron templates for. I know public libraries have to keep track of which patrons are residents and non-residents. You could have different templates because they have different information going in there. In this case, when you're in circulation and you go to create a new patron word, you'll be the template doesn't just open up, it offers you the choice of the templates that are there. Questions? Okay, our list to look at is record fetch, and I'm not sure. I think it looks like. Oh wait, so let me see. I've got a. Sorry, didn't have that open. It's a web OPAC. Something that you would have with your M3. This is what patrons are working with, and for most part, this is patron mode. I mean, this is what the patrons use for searching, and we'll talk about some of this in a minute. But the late versions of the web OPAC also help you with cataloging because we have built in the record fetch. So if you get into the WAC librarian, we have record fetch, which is our built-in Z950 protocol that will allow you to use OPAC to search other libraries catalog records. Now, when you choose record fetch, the libraries that you're going to be searching are then in the libraries link. And you can see I've got some examples of different kinds of libraries you could use. You can, you come with the Library of Congress as the default, and often you're able to find, at least 90% of what you want is there. But them you could select all, or clear them all and just select one.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so if I know on a lot of records, because cleaning up after a merger into this program, I have my records, well, not in the Irish collection, in the Irish National Library. So if I just put Irish National Library, list that under record fetch, I could just fetch record from them?
It's not quite so easy, but yes. I mean, you do have to set it up. You have to know the information, the 3950 server and port and database name, but something that there are lots of places to find that.
And where would we go to find that?
there are a couple of places. One is called irspy.com, I think. irspy. And then my bookmarks. irspy. And another one's called Zebrary.
And no, I'm sorry, I didn't write fast enough. I need to know what of the Z3950. What? Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah. This hang on, let me see if I've got. No, I don't have it open here. In your setup, it goes setup page, and you'll need the server, which is its IP address or a URL for the server, the Z50 server, and and then the port number of that for that server, and then the database name.
Oh.
And that information is all given in both of those sources, or you can ask me for some help. Now, I remind you that Bookware, we're partners with Clarity, and Bookware is still a very useful product that has many features than Record Fetch. But if you're getting a few records at a time from a couple of basic libraries, you can do it through Record Fetch.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm just going to use MainCat. That's the union catalog for Maine, and they seem to have good records, I think. So I'll obviously go to the Library of Congress, but and I'm going to search by ISBN because it's most specific. Now, if I don't have an ISBN and I want to search author title, it works much better to go to Library of Congress because you can search author title that way. 374. So ISBN, I got enough digits there. Yep. Search. Okay, right that quickly. There is the record. And notice that we have our Sedetics content over. I usually, at this point, change it to expanded label so I can see that it's got things like that. Oh, this is a very dark book. I didn't notice what I was getting here. Okay, and so all I have to do, I want this record, I have this book, I want this record to put it in my book bag. Okay, and I could go and I could fetch something else, put in another ISBN or author title or something. Put the book bag, when I'm ready, I go to the book bag. And now this is different from Oasis, but M3 in the web OPAC, I can click on Mark here, and what happens is it's downloading this file. Everything that was in my book bag is being downloaded in Mark format. So I'm just going to there's my book. It's in my downloads file. Okay, and then it's available for importing into M3 cataloging. So if I file import, records, in modes file folder, bag 2, text. I got to get my downloads, don't I? That was it. What did I just? The life. I saved it as. Oops. Book bag. It's now bag 3 text. Okay. Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. Cataloging. File. Import. Bibliographic records. Book bag. Text. That's not there. I wouldn't have got too many things in here in my book bag. But in any case, That's how it should work. I've got a downloaded MARC record now that I can import, or I could have a whole file of them. Doesn't have one at a time, which is one of the handy things. Okay. I hope I fuse everyone there. I think I fused myself here. Questions about that, about record fetch?
I have a question on how the record appears in the web OPAC. It came up here today that call numbers are not present here unless it's put into the bib record, the 852 field.
That's right.
Is that right? So whenever we import, we make sure that we have the 852 field in the bib records? In the BIFIC, I should say?
That's right. You have to put in, the first thing you should do when you import records, if you're importing them, if they don't already have call number and, things, if you're just importing them from some other library, you should edit the record. Let's go back to that record, sorry. I just put in the title, right. Oh dear. Okay, this is not working right. Okay, anyway, the first thing you would do is record, and you have to do that in your M3, so, okay. Did add this record, didn't I, or not? Didn't import it yet, okay. I'm going to look at other records that I have created today. That is, so I'm going to search by the 908 field, which is the field that's the Mandarin field that has the date the record was created. That is 2013, April 04, 23rd, and I see everything I entered today, okay? And there's some out call numbers. So the first thing I need to do is go to this record and field 82. I've gotten so that I can do it really fast, 852, and then I want HIK. I always think a hick. I'm putting those subfields in. I put my location or not, but the main thing I want is that this is fiction, that's classification, this is Applegate, so that's the author part. And then I can create the holding, and it will pull over this information. And when I look at that in the web OPAC, you'll see that the call number does display. Okay. Okay, back here at okay, well, my search is not working. I'm looking at a different database, and that's why. But anyway, if I went to this one, you would see it now. I get confused about where I am. Okay. So there's the call number. Then this is the 82 for the bib record. When I look at the details, this 852, all of this is the 852 for the holdings record. Okay. I did want to talk a little bit about a couple other things here. We said talk about levels. We now have Lexel, so that you can search either Lexels or Fontes and Pell. You can search range. If it's a straight range, I just want something in 400s, or you can put in some range. So I need something that's between 440 and 620, and I want something about bears. And it should give me just that in the exile range, and that does display. You look at this record, if we go to the details here and change mark, full mark, so that you can see where that is, you'll see that the Lexile information is in the 521 field. The number, the Lexile number goes in the subfield A, and word Lexile or whatever, that it has more than that in it, in subfield B. That's how it knows that it knows what for in that range search. Okay. If you don't have Lexile information in your records, that's something that you can use MightyNet for. That's another company that we partner with, and they do a great job of taking your records and adding that Lexile information for you.
Yeah, and Deb, Jennifer had a question about removing that from the OPAC, and yes, that's configurable. We can remove the option to search by reading levels.
Right. It's one of, again, in your setup, you can turn that off so that it shows. Okay. Start watching the chat. Thanks.
No problem. And you also had a question. I'm not sure if you got that one about using fetch or retrieving records if you don't have the web OPAC. And I think that Bookware would be a good solution.
Yes, definitely. Yes, it's just a way of searching and downloading the records, and Bookware would be, great for that. So because in either case, you're going to be importing them into your M3 cataloging, which is always worth it.
And if you need more information, I'll be happy to provide that to you. Just email me after this meeting, if you would, or call.
The one thing I wanted to show you was RDA, and I don't know how many of you are RDA. A little bit of a document here. It's resource access. If someone may know this already, and you can go to the Library of Congress and look at this. Since the 1st of April of this year, Library of Congress is using RDA to describe for their description of their records. And what we used to be using is the Anglo-American cataloging rules as description. So right sort of in this transition time where the RDA fields, which are somewhat different, very minor way they're different, are being fit into the MARC record as we know it. Now, man is that, and so I show you let's see, this is my record here. This record here is a record that I just from the Library of Congress. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference. There's a little, you can see some subfields that indicate something. You'll see an A up here in the leader, the CIA, and perhaps later. The main differences is that this information here, the place, the publisher, the date, is coming in a 264 field instead of a 260. And so Mandarin is in the process of changing the display so that it will also display. So it will be to you or to your patrons which field it's in. It will display either way. The things you'll find in RDA is that they use far fewer abbreviations. So lots of things will be written out that you're used to seeing as P period now you're going to see pages. There are also these other fields, 336 to 337, 338, that to do with the format, but it's not anything that is useful to us at this point until this becomes more fully implemented in libraries. So the main things that you're going to see this 264. You're going to wonder where is my publication information if it doesn't display it. And what these fields are, but that's the main thing. It's really not a big deal at this point. That I may want to look at that. Let's look at that in the web OPAC. Let's do enhanced and oops. We have to look at it in mine. Enhanced. Look at how the publication information doesn't display here. We've got a new version coming very soon that will have some display changes that will include sort of thing. Okay. Questions? Anything else on cataloging? I notice we're grade to 1.7 in order to see RD. I don't think you need to grade on the program. Will the 264 and the 336 fields. There's some problem with display once we change the displays. If you're 0.7, really there's any other features in there that we're now at SP5, I think, on 1.7.
Same thing goes with the web OPAC. If anybody needs help updating to the newer web OPAC, just let us know. I'll be happy to help you with that.
So other questions? We'll say out this recording. If you want to have information about changing the display in cataloging, let me know. You can just send me an email, and I will send right back the directions. When you insert, I see, okay. Yeah, before 1.7, apparently, it would not accept some of these fields that are being used by RDA. So you probably do need to be in 1.7 at least. The RDA fields. Okay? All right, Jennifer. Anybody else? Questions or want anything from please? Mandarin support. If you've got questions about any of this or want help with updates or anything else.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and again, always welcome to hear new suggestions of new topics for webinars. And if you need anything, just email us or call us. Be happy to help any way we can. Another question, Deb, from number 2 long, is it come?
The validation and cataloging has been out of date. We found that changes in MARC were happening so fast that we haven't been able to keep up to date with it. And so these really don't mean that there's anything wrong with the program. Right now it does say that the 15-digit ISBN is too long, but that's an out-of-date validation. And actually, in the most recent version of M3, I think you will see that validation is turned off as a default.
Yeah, it was causing too much confusion, so it was turned off.
So I love this. I was using it because sometimes I knew which things were really invalid and so forth, but it's not important these days. So, and it's confusing. So, okay. So, you know, digits is obviously a valid. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop the recording. I will be glad to send it out to you.
Okay, then everyone.